What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this I want to break down something very important about the markets for tomorrow. Let me just mention I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, and the offer ends very soon in just 3 weeks. Anyways, for the market, I want to call out something very, very important. As you guys know, CPI came in below expectations. The market pumped approaching CPI yesterday, and then also pumped during the pre-markets, only to start dumping after that. And that's kind of like a buy the rumor, sell the news event. CPI was already priced in. The market pumped approaching it, only to dump right after. So the question is, what's going to happen from here? Is the market going to get a big bounce? Is it about to get a rug pull? It really depends on a couple of factors. Going into the market for close and also for tomorrow, I'm going to be watching to see the 4-hour 20 EMA. Do we lose this green line right here? See this green line that's holding our SPY up right now? That's going to be 555.9. If we lose that, this is going to be dipping even further lower. If we hold this, we could try to rebound. I'll be watching this very, very carefully. But it's not as simple as that, because you have to remember one more thing. Even if we do hold it for close, right, hypothetically, even if SPY closes very close to where we are, we have big catalysts coming out tomorrow before the market opens that will affect whether or not we hold that support. Tomorrow, we firstly have the PPI data report that's very similar to CPI. PPI's wholesale inflation is going to give us more insights on how inflation is looking from the wholesale or like other side. And the reason why this is important is because it's going to affect the Fed's policies and CPI. It's actually forward looking for CPI, so it leads CPI moving forward. As all the data has been decent for PPI and CPI for the last few months, there's a high probability that PPI is going to be decent for the month of June. So this should be okay, in my personal opinion. This could be more positive for the markets, so watch for that very carefully. But remember, this data comes out 1 hour before the market opens. So if you're holding anything overnight, you want to be careful of this coming out. This could cause another big move. And then simultaneously, we have something else that's going to be huge. Tomorrow, before the market opens, we have JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup all announcing their earnings. The big bank earnings are starting. Earnings cycle is about to begin for Q2, and this is going to be absolutely insane. If the big banks collapse and they have very, very bad earnings, this could still drag the market lower, okay? The market could still get a rug pull even if PPI is decent. If the big banks do well, the market could continue to rally, it could try to bounce. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, like I said in my earlier videos, I am not a fortune teller. I don't know exactly what the numbers are going to look like. So I want to be very careful. I do think that there's a high probability that PPI is going to be decent, but I'm not 100% sure about the big bank earnings coming out for Friday. I'm not too sure about this. So with that being said, when you have information that comes out and simultaneously if you don't know what's going to happen, right, if we don't know what's going to happen with a certain event, why should we assume we know what's going to happen? That's the very important thing about day trading. If you turn into a perma bear and you just start doubling down on your shorts saying it's going to crash, you go all in on shorts. What if we get a big bounce tomorrow because of the big bank earnings and it's also a Friday? Fridays have lots of manipulation. And then what if you assume everything's going to be fine and you start going long right here? You start buying the dip like crazy, thinking it's going to bounce, you go all in on the markets, and then we get bad earnings and the market collapses again, right? Sometimes you don't know what's going to happen, right? We don't know what's going to happen. So that's the reason why you have to be very careful. That's why you have to kind of like manage risks, reduce positions, and be very, very careful when it comes to things like this and these big events. So my job here is just to give you guys a warning about what they are. You could play whatever you want. If you want to double down on calls, want to go long on futures, if you want to go short, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. Be my guest. But I'm just trying to let you guys know what the risk is, because we don't know what's going to happen with all the events coming out for tomorrow before the market even opens. So all this data comes out before market open. We have earnings and we also have PPI before the market opens. So just be very careful. Unless you're trading futures, you have different strategies. So for SPY, make sure you watch 555.9. That's going to be our 20 EMA. If we lose this, there's going to be a bigger tip coming all the way down towards 554 and then 552. If we hold this, we're going to be looking for a rebound back up towards 558. So that's going to be our resistance. If that breaks, 560 is coming. So I'm going to be very careful looking at the support just to see how things end up developing. For close, I'm just watching to see if SPY could close above 555.9 or not. And then I'm not really as worried. Like if we do close above it, there's going to be some potential for a bounce. But like I said, guys, it depends on earnings and such too. So I'll be very, very careful. But just know that from a technical standpoint, 555.9 is a very important level. And if we do hold that, there's going to be more hope for a bounce. If we lose that, there's going to be a higher probability we end up failing. For Nvidia, we're range bound right now. So going into tomorrow, between now and tomorrow, right, starting right now, watch 130 as resistance. If that breaks, look for 132. Watch 127 as support. That's our 50 EMA. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping even lower. We're in the middle, so give this some time. So we'll just have to see how things end up developing. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin has a double top-like structure. We have resistance currently around the 58,000 area. If we end up losing support at 57,000, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 56,000. If we break past 58,000, we're going to be looking for a big bounce. We have a nice double bottom, so we'll see if we break out or not. So give this some time just for confirmation. For ES, okay, for those who are interested in trading futures, we're watching 5648 as resistance. That's our 20 EMA. And support's right here where we kind of bounced off of the 5630 area. If we were to lose that, I think 5614 is basically coming. We're in the middle, so give this some time. This is what's dictating SPY. QQQ is looking kind of weak, but we have support at 492. If we lose that, we're looking at 490. That's going to be our 50 EMA. And then if that breaks, we'll be looking for a bigger dip all the way down to about 485. If we end up bouncing, you're going to be looking at 496 as resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 500. So watch those levels very carefully just to see how we end up moving. We're stuck in the middle, kind of consolidating. I personally presume that nothing too crazy will happen until close. I think we might just stay very close to where we are. But there's going to be a big move tomorrow depending on the big data that comes out. So I want to give you guys a heads up and a warning about that. Apple's also trying to rebound off this 20 EMA. This is 227 as support. If we lose this because of the big bank earnings, we're dipping all the way down to 225, then eventually 223. If we bounce off this, we're looking for 230 as resistance. We'll have to wait and see how things end up going. For Supermicro, we're kind of stuck in the middle. We have this resistance very close to the 892 area, followed by 900. And we have support currently at 880, not to mention 866. Those are going to be your supports. We're in the middle. We are on a slight downtrend right here that's forming. So if we lose 866, look for a bigger dip. Otherwise, we're just kind of shuffling between these areas. It also depends on the big bank earnings and other factors. That's going to affect the whole market. So we'll see. And also PPI. So we'll see how it goes. The IWM is also looking more bullish despite what's been going on. I think the IWM is just very bullish, showing a lot of strength. I think this will eventually break out towards 212.5 plus and eventually start breaking out during the summer. This looks bullish to me, especially on the 4-hour time frame. So I favor upside on the IWM Russell 2000. For AMD, look at 182 as our resistance, and we have key support at 176. I think we're just shuffling for now, so we're just going to give this a little bit more time just to see how things go. And let me just go over like 4 or 5 more. Coinbase is trying to dip a little bit. Make sure you watch resistance at 222. For bullish tomorrow, I want to break through that. If we're bearish, we're going to be dipping even lower towards 212. Technically speaking, it looks more bearish. It favors downside right now, so it might be dipping down lower. But just to be safe, we'll see how the data tomorrow affects it. For Amazon, we were supposed to break past 200. We failed to do so. And we also ended up losing the support. We called it at 197.5. So my target was around 194 if that ended up being the case. We actually went a little bit lower. So I think that there is a risk of more downside on Amazon if we continue to fall. So we'll see how things go. My job is just to give you guys a warning. Just know that all this data is coming out. We have 510 as support. If we lose this, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 500. We have resistance at 515. If this breaks, look for 520. Meta is looking a little bit more bearish. We could be dipping down towards 508 again, so just be careful. We'll see how the data tomorrow affects us. Same thing with Microsoft. Look at resistance at 456, and then support is at 452. We'll see which way we break. We're still in the middle. I think we might consolidate for the rest of the day, but then don't forget there's going to be a big move tomorrow. Lastly, we have Google. It's barely holding its 50 EMA. If we lose this tomorrow at 187, and we called out 187 in my earlier video, if we lose 187, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 184. If we hold this, we could try to rebound to 189. Overall, we're in the middle, but it all depends on the data. For now, it's holding support, so there's a chance it might try to rebound a bit. GameStop's trying to uptrend a little bit, could be getting closer to 26. Not really doing much, though. And then AMC, it's just kind of slowing down, might retest 5.09, but it might just shuffle, not really doing much either. With that being said, guys, for the markets, we're trying to hold some key supports, especially on SPY and ES. If we do hold support, there's going to be an increased probability of us trying to get a bounce. It is possible, but it's not a guarantee because it also depends on data. And if we were to close below these key supports, even for today, that's going to be an increased probability of more downside. So I'll be looking to see how we end up closing. And then another big factor is going to be the data. So look out for that tomorrow. If you want to hold overnight, you could. But I just want to let you know to be careful. Be careful with the PPI report coming out before the market opens. Be careful with the big bank earnings. I don't know what that's going to cause. So I personally, I'm just going to, like, what I would do is what I'm actually doing. I'm not saying you have to do this, but what I'm doing is I am managing risks. I took most of my profits, if not almost all of them, and I'm only going to hold very, very tiny, minuscule positions just for fun with money I'm willing to lose. That's what I'm doing overnight. So if you want to do the same thing, it's your choice. You could strategize however you guys want, but I just want to wish the best for everyone and thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours. Take care. Market to the moon because the long term is still very bright despite this pullback that we are seeing. Be very, very prepared for what's coming out for tomorrow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.